But one artist or two people who I feel like have been consistent, not only the 2020s, like we talking 30, 35 years in the game, if not longer, is Dr. Dre and Snoop. Yo, they just dropped a new album called Missionary. Obviously a play on Doggy Style, which is wild, but
Nasty work.
very on brand. You know what I mean? How did you feel about this new album from these two legendary artists and one of hip hop's greatest producers ever, if not the greatest?
Absolutely. I would say, man, so I intentionally went into this with a blank slate. I tried to.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah,
like, I can't expect this to be Doggy Style, which about is actually like, for me, it's probably one of the top 20 hip hop projects to me.
for
Hip
me, for
hop, period. Maybe
mhm,
higher than that, to be honest. But just
mhm.
an amazing body of work. I try not to compare this to that just because these people are almost 60 years old. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like this is 30 years. Like their messaging is gonna be different. It's gonna sound
Yeah,
different. Like don't expect that even though it's the same artist.
yeah.
And going into it, man, I'm 50-50 with it. There's songs I
Mhm.
really like and there's songs I don't like. But one thing that is consistent is I think the production is amazing on this
Oh,
album.
it's amazing, bro. It's
Shout out to
amazing.
Dr. Dre. Like the production on here is fire. And I think that that's one thing that really stood out to me. But there are songs that I like. Um, Out of the Blue, I thought was fire.
Yeah.
Hard Knocks, I liked.
Mhm.
Um, Gorgeous with Janae Aiko. I always don't know if I'm saying her name right. Aiko, I don't know.
Janae Aiko. Yeah,
Aiko. Okay.
Aiko. Yeah.
Fire. I like that one. Last Dance with Mary Jane, I liked. I don't necessarily like skyscrapers, but I liked Method Man's verse on it.
Yeah.
I thought that he went crazy.
Hmm.
Um, and then Now or Never with BJ the Chicago Kid, I thought was fire. So there's songs on here that stood out to me that I really liked. There's other ones that are skippable. Some of them are like super poppy, and I'm like, that ain't
Yeah.
going that in. You know what I mean? Those ones don't resonate with me at all. Like the joint with Sting, I'm never gonna listen to that again.
Mm.
There's songs on here that I'm like I'm cool on. But yeah, but I think there's some to take away from this. There's some songs on here that I like that I could see in some commercials too,
Yeah,
um,
for
because of
sure.
how well produced they are. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I think Snoop's rapping on here is good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Snoop's rapping on some of these songs. I was like, nah, Snoop is he back in that old pocket, but he's talking about stuff from a different perspective to a certain degree. And I think
Yeah.
that it was cool. I think it was cool hearing Snoop rap like this again.
It
So
was. And only like someone, I won't say only someone like a Dr. Dre, but like a Dre Pharrell, like they're able to push Snoop in this type of way. Because I feel like I don't want to make it sound like he typically mails it in, but I just feel like he's relying on like kind of old flows, old rhyming schemes, and just cadences. But I feel like a Dre or a Pharrell will, encourage him to mix things up and
yep.
push lyrically in ways others may not. So yeah, he definitely sharpened his writing on this one for sure.
Yeah. What were your thoughts listening to it?
I think like I want to commend them first for continuing to make music because again, I feel like this has been debunked many a times, but it's projects like these that just further prove the point like, yo, there's no age limit on music. There's
Yeah.
no age limit on rap because you have rock stars still doing worldwide tours and everything, but when it comes to hip hop, we're like, oh, he's old. Oh, I want to retire. I got to retire at 35. No, these dudes are in their 50s, approaching their 60s, still making not just music but quality music. The production on here, bro, this is a feel good album for me. It's very timely
Yeah.
around the holidays, so I just felt good, bro. I just felt like, you know what I'm saying, just like a good positive start to the holiday season because of this album too.
It's a good
um
vibe.
it's a good vibe. I think like if I had to critique it, man, I would just say for me, the beginning is I know we tend to like have albums where we're like, oh, this is kind of top heavy. I actually think this is reverse. I actually like the tail end a lot more than the
Okay.
beginning, which is crazy. I think like foreplay Shangri-La, like I'm like, like I don't know how this album is gonna go. But by the time I hear Gorgeous with Janae Aiko, I'm like, okay. And
Yeah.
then like another part of me with Sting, actually I like. I I actually
Really?
like the rock-esque element or infusion to it for some reason. It's
Okay.
something that I didn't expect to hear from him. But once I heard Snoop on it and them combining and Dre is like, because Dre got that iconic voice, so he's like whatever, sting him or whatever, whatever he said to him. I was like, okay, like, all right, it's different, but I like it. And then by the tail end, bro, once you get to Gangsta Pose and the Negotiator, I'm like, okay, this is kind of like
Yeah.
old S
Yeah.
like Snoop and Dre. You know what I mean? And that's what I would have probably preferred for a full
Same.
body of work. You know what I mean? I'd rather have heard like something like that, or even a Sticky Situation, which has R&B-esque element to it, I believe.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that. Guns and Smoke, bro. To see 50 Cent, Eminem, Snoop, Dre, just the generations of Dre connected artists.
It's crazy.
Music, bro, it was phenomenal, dog. So overall, this is a good project. Yo, I didn't even like make the connection between Doggy Style and Missionary until we got on the podcast, like pre-recorded. And I'm like, and I'm looking at the cover. I'm like, this is a black, basically a black troll. And like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah,
childish. It's very childish.
it's childish, but you
But
know,
the original album cover was also wild, so it makes sense.
yeah,
You gotta stay keep on brand with
yeah,
it.
man.
But
Yeah, I
shout
was,
out Snoop. Huh?
yeah, shout out Snoop and Dre because the production again, bro. Like Drake never misses when it comes to not only producing the beat, like producing the flow of like everything and the
Right.
mixing. That's like I heard he's like a freaking chemist or just like a engineer when it comes to mixing these type of records, bro. Have you heard that
I've
before?
heard the exact same thing. I've heard that Dr. Dre's mixing abilities in the studio is unlike anybody else's.
Mm,
Like artists will brag about and producers will brag about working with Dre and being like, "Yo, like I've never seen anybody
mm,
who mixes songs with as much detail as Dr. Dre." And I can hear it on here. Like playing it in the car, I was like, "Oh no, this sounds crazy!"
mm-hmm.
Like they're like some of the joints on there. Like when I was playing, I want to say it was it might have been Gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Gorgeous. In the car, it just sounded crazy. Like the mixing of it is amazing. Like you can tell he pays even like when the beat drops versus when it comes back in, when it goes into one speaker and pans to the other speaker, like stuff like that. When I hear Dr. Dre's production, I'm like, no, he pays attention to detail when mixing audio.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, man, Dre is like that, man. And I agree with you. I would have liked to hear, maybe they can do it another time, but I definitely would have liked to hear a super West Coasty
Yeah.
sound. I think
Mm-hmm.
this one they tried to make it a little bit more modern at times, uh,
Yeah.
and I think it works for some songs, other songs not as
Mm-hmm.
much. But all in all, it's a feel good album. I definitely would recommend checking it out for sure.
I
Like,
would, bro, and I think it will surprise a lot of people who are more accustomed or recognize Snoop for maybe his broadcast on the Olympics or know him for his reality show or know him for some of his other exploits, you know what I mean? And some of the other things that he does, or for Dre with his headphones, who forget what impact these artists have made and continue to make, you know what I mean,
yeah,
as hip hop legends, bro. So I think it will surprise a lot of folks who don't associate them necessarily with music. I was watching a video of Cameron and Mace, their sports talk show, and they were talking about their own children not recognizing Ice Cube or Will Smith for being MCs, bro. So it's crazy.
yeah. I
27. So I'm probably not too much older than their children in the larger scale of things. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. But you know, that's
yeah.
just the nature of the
No,
generational divide.
no, I see it with my students all the time, and it's
Hmm.
crazy because like you said, like we think like 10 years isn't that much time. Like I'm 31, so like some of the students are 21, but like a lot of
Hmm.
them don't know even in the hip hop class. Like when I'll mention Ice Cube or even Ice T and these people, like they recognize them from acting. Will Smith, same way.
Hmm.
Like I had
Yeah.
students literally be like, when I had a Will Smith song on one of their playlists, they were like, I didn't realize Will Smith rapped. I was like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
but it's not like Will Smith wasn't a successful rapper. Like Will Smith has Grammys.
He's the first rapper to win a Grammy.
Yeah, like
Like,
multiple Grammys.
yeah. And that's crazy, bro. Big Willie, man. You know what I
Big
mean?
Willie
So,
style. You know what I'm saying?
yo, and I actually
Get
want to
jiggy
ask you
with it.
this. I
Y'all know
want to
nothing
ask you
about
this about with the Dre and Snoop album. Like I remember like in the like, maybe really all through the 20 or the 2000s, 20 early 2010s maybe, up until maybe he dropped the album Compton. Detox was like the hidden album that everybody wanted a piece of.
Oh man.
Oh, you're hearing about him doing studio sessions with this artist, this artist, this artist to piece it together. And originally people don't know this. Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar, the first reason why they even connected is because he wanted him on Detox. And they actually recorded various songs for it. But obviously, as we know, it never came out. It leaked a little bit, like some songs leaked, but it never officially came out. Like, like how do you feel about Dre's like legacy, or maybe this album, knowing that the context of even that, like Detox never really came to shape?
So I think, man, detox is like Bigfoot at this point. Like it's like you hear about it, but
Yeah.
you don't know if it's real.
Mm.
And it's crazy to me because it's like I don't. I wonder at this point because it's been. I mean, you right. It's been like 15, 20 years of this
Yeah.
episode. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if he plans on it being a posthumous album at this point.
Mm.
I
Mm.
wonder. In my mind, it's kind of like, do you just plan on like after you're gone, then it just comes out or something? Like maybe he has a larger plan for it like that. Because if not, it's like, man, this is the longest album rollout in history.
Yeah.
Like the fact that there's an album of yours and we know the name, like, and you know what it would do culturally and how many
Mm.
people would flock to that album would go just off of the hip hop fans and how long we've heard about the name Detox. If Dr. Dre Detox pops up on people's phone, they're listening to it immediately.
Immediately, bro. Yeah.
Immediately. So it's
Yeah.
like you know the impact that it could have. But he's continued to drop projects since that aren't Detox. So I don't know. I really don't know what his goal is for. I would like
Mm.
to hear some of those records. Maybe it's his perfectionist in him that he
Mm.
keeps changing stuff or adding
Yeah.
stuff, and he doesn't just know what he wants to put on it. But I've also heard that Dr. Dre has like thousands of songs.
Oh, he has to, bro. And he has to. And I guarantee you, if we were to like crack in his hard drive and actually play him out loud, we would think to ourselves, why did you never drop this, bro? Like,
Yeah.
why'd you keep this for yourself and not give it to the people? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I've heard that he's a real studio rat too. There's certain people who are like live in the studio, like how Pac was.
Yeah.
Like Pac was only what 25 when he passed away, and
Hmm.
the amount of music he had recorded before he passed is just like insane. And I think that there are
Yeah.
Prince was like that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's they say there's thousands of unreleased Prince records. You know what I mean? So
And for our younger hip hop fans who listen to the pod, Juice World, like to an extent, has
mhm.
like hundreds, if not thousands, of records himself. And he died, I think he was 21, 22. So
Yeah,
certain people just they really love music in that way. You know what I mean? And a perfectionist. Like Dr. Dre is a known perfectionist. So and you can hear it. Like even on his album Compton, like I personally love it. Is it one of those albums that people go to and reference? No. But it's
I like it too.
yeah, but it's amazing. Like Dre's amazing. We know this, but Dre and Snoop can't beat the combo.